right, check this out. Check this out. So, I haven't been taking my Nintendo Switch channel very, very seriously, and I'm going to do so moving forward. Final Fantasy X recently released, and I decided to do some research. Now, like the average person nowadays in 2019, the first place I run to is YouTube. I want to see some reviewers. I want to see some hands-on. I want to see some footage. And I also want to see the opinion of people who have touched franchises that I'm interested in, whether you got a review copy or if this is not a new franchise and, you know, it's an old game that's been remastered. I want to know what you think about it. I want to see the differences. And if you don't have experience, you haven't played the old ones, say that in the beginning of the review. I've never played the previous copies. This is my initial playthrough, blah, blah. This is my initial impressions. You know, say something like that. But YouTube has grown to the place where shills have now dominated a lot of gaming communities. And I think that's what's happening with the Switch community. So check it out. I am someone who loves Final Fantasy X. That's why we're here. And I want to talk about it. And I want to give you guys my real opinion. Not saying what other people's opinion isn't real. Maybe they're not shills. Maybe that's just how it comes across to me. Because, you know, sometimes I can be pessimistic at times. But what I want to say is I've done my research. I've done a lot of digging. I finished Final Fantasy X multiple times. I beat Final Fantasy X on the Vita. Where's my Vita? I want to show you guys my Vita. I beat Final Fantasy X on the Vita. I also beat it on the Slim. That's on the other side of the room that I'm not going to go get. I beat it on the PlayStation 2, I believe. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I beat that on my PC on an emulator also. So I played this game a bunch, and you know what? As much as I love this game, what was I going to do? I was going to go out and buy it again on the Nintendo Switch. Now, let's talk about this game. This game is great. I still remember this game. I remember this game actually more than Final Fantasy VII, which is weird because Final Fantasy VII is my favorite title. But I can actually go more in detail about this one. So Final Fantasy X, you got a guy named Titus, however you pronounce his name. And he's like this famous blitzball player. And on the night of one of his games, his world changes. I'm not going to ruin it too much for you guys, but this is pretty much the opening credits. So if you want to fast forward about 15, 20 seconds, I won't be long with this. Pretty much, Orin shows up. He sees a guy that he knows named Orin. His father's been missing for a while. Orin shows up, say, hey, things are about to change pretty much. He finds out that the world he's living in isn't the real world or some weird stuff like that where he travels. The sin monster comes up, attacks, destroys, and actually it was the real world. He gets attacked, destroyed the city or whatever, and then he pops into an alternate time. And now I used to think it was an alternate universe when I was growing up, but it's just a different time. He was fast forward into the future, life after sin. Sin came and destroyed it. I forgot what his city was called, but you do revisit that city eventually at a point. But it's a deep game, right? Deep game. I'm not here to break down a story for you. I just want to explain that I have experience with the title. Did not buy it again on the Switch. Now, if you are somebody who has never experienced Final Fantasy X, can I justify this price tag for you at $50? Yes. Yes. If this game came out in 2019, it was never released before, and you have never experienced it, I'm a firm believer of remasters, not remasters, because this is not a remaster. We're going to talk about that too. Newer versions of games should never be $50 to $60. I think if you come out with a game that's been re-released and you port it, because that's what, in my opinion, this is. If you port it over, it should not be this high. But if you have never experienced this, then I think if the Nintendo Switch is your way of getting into this game, I think you should. You will get your $50 worth if you are into turn-based RPG games. There is a lot of content here, especially when you want to get the legendary Aeons. You're going to spend 100, maybe 200 hours in this game. And I think if you get 200 hours out of a game or more, it's 100% worth the money. Like, I don't care if you hated the experience. If you spent 200 hours on a game, then it's worth the money. So now we got that out the way, all right? My people that's new to the game, you know, it's going to be different things for you. Stuff that you haven't experienced. You're going to have the normal sphere grid, the advanced sphere grid, whatever you want, you know what I'm saying? You could test it out and stuff like that. Do your thing, have fun. Now, let's talk to the people like myself who have experienced this title again and again and again and again. Now, I have this game on PC. The PC version came with boosters. Now, this was my issue with World of Final Fantasy on Switch versus PC. Now, the reason why I didn't complain too much about the one on Nintendo Switch is because it was my first time experiencing the game, so therefore I should not have had boosters. I didn't need boosters, and if they were present, I would have used them. Because it was my first time experiencing the game, I should have just played it right the first time through. So I didn't trip on that, but I sat back and was like, damn, I have it on PC. I bought it on the Switch because I just didn't feel like sitting at my computer desk, and I could hook it up to my television, but I just don't like swapping my HDMIs, touching my PC console like that. I just don't like doing it. I could play it on the TV, but I just didn't want to. So I bought it again on the Switch and I experienced it. Great game, love it. But when it comes to games like this, I have Final Fantasy X on my Switch. I mean on my PC. It looks way better on the PC. Now, that's a given. Who gives a damn, right? You can play it on the mobile. That's one advantage you have on the Switch over the PC. But let's talk about the fact that there are no boosters in this game. For people like myself who have experienced this game 5 to 6 times, and on the PC version, there are boosters, not cheats, not something that I download, a hack that I download into the game. There are boosters. And what are boosters if you haven't played before? Now, if you bought Final Fantasy VII on the Switch, there are boosters there. You can increase your guild to max. You can level your people up. You can do different type of things that just automatically progress. You can do no battles where you just experience the story, and those random pop-up battles you don't get, you can literally do the story and just fight bosses. You can do that too if you want to. There are boosts in Final Fantasy VII that are present. In Final Fantasy IX Remaster on the Nintendo Switch, there are boosts present. I have used it. Now, have I beat Final Fantasy IX? No, but I've made it pretty far in Final Fantasy IX, and for some reason I just never finished. So I used boosts this time to hurry up and get me to that point again so that I can keep pressing on with the story. But boost. Square Enix, I don't get you why you pick and choose when you want to put boost in the game. It's stupid, especially when boosts are in the PC version of your game. You have it there already. Why haven't you brought it to the Switch version and your other games have boosts? This makes it a no buy for me personally. I played Final Fantasy X. I'm not dodging lightning 100 or 200 times how many times it was growing up. All right, I still got PTSD from that. I'm not doing it again. What else is in there? Like I'm not grinding certain things. I'm not collecting all of the monsters for the arena to get a legendary weapon. I'm not doing that again. All right. I'm not trying to grind and get all my sphere lock keys or whatever that you got to use on the sphere grid to get past those locks and stuff like that. I'm not doing that again. I want to experience the story. I want to face the Dark Aeons again because on the Vita, the Vita got the international version, which this is the same exact thing. You can fight the Dark Aeons, and I wasn't strong enough to get through the Aeons. So you know what I did? I used Yojimbo. He has a move that can instant kill the Dark Aeons, and I used that to collect all the Dark Aeons too, or whatever, so that I can unlock. I think eventually you can unlock the Magus Sisters. I can't remember how to unlock the Magus Sisters. I think you have to beat the Dark Aeons to get her in the international version. I can't remember, but when it comes down to it, man, not having boosters is a big deal for me personally. And I just don't think it's worth it, and especially at the $50 price tag. When you go to Square Enix's website, you can look at Final Fantasy X. It doesn't list the Switch version, and I understand the Xbox version is just as much, which is outright ridiculous too. But when you go to buy this game, it's not like it's a different version. It's the exact same version. You go to Square Enix's site, they have Final Fantasy X. You click it, and it lets you scroll through which version you want. So when it goes to the PS4 version, it's like $15. When you go to the PC version, it's like $15. And then when you go to Xbox, boom, $50. Switch, boom, $50. But it's the exact same thing. The description doesn't change. The only difference is I think that the Switch version has touchscreen controls that everybody's talking about. And once again, I played this on the Vita. That is not a new feature to me. So I don't understand what we're doing here. Was this literally only for people who have never played this franchise before? Or Square Enix being lazy? Because Square Enix has a history of being lazy. Where one moment they're pushing, they're doing good, they're doing right by us, and they're constantly doing the right thing. And then they go through this slump where you end up with like 15,000 Final Fantasy 13s because they don't want to sit down and write a new damn story. It's just things that Square Enix does. The fans begged y'all to move on for 13, and y'all just kept dropping new ones. Here's another 13. Here's a 13-2. Here go Lightning Returns. Here goes this one. It's like, God damn, when I see Lightning, I get sick to the stomach because of that. And Square Enix goes through these phases, up and down, up and down. They did the same thing with Final Fantasy 15. Now, luckily, I didn't follow Final Fantasy 15 through its production, so I only saw the final product. I knew I wanted Final Fantasy 15, but when it comes to games like that, I personally know that they changed. So I didn't want to ruin that title for me because I had been waiting for a new title and it looked like it was going to be good. But when I went back and looked at it, they lied. They changed a lot. The story changed mid-route. It had a more dark approach. Even the the mission that was in the demo completely removed. And when I went back to research, like, yo, what was the point of this demo if it's nothing like the actual game? It was because the game had changed mid-cycle, and that's why I got pushed back. The demo released like a year and a half before the game finally went gold. So, Square Enix, I don't understand you. I know I've been a little bit long-winded. I just wanted to say, if you've never experienced Final Fantasy X before, yes, I think it's a good buy for you. $50, get you 200 hours of gameplay, especially because it comes with 2. Now, one thing that the Switch does have that the PS Vita didn't have is the Switch version has both versions of the game on cartridge. So you get the Final Fantasy X and you get the 10-2. When I bought it on the PS Vita, you bought 10 and you had to download 10-2, which sucked because in a time where we're using handhelds and space is limited, it's not like a terabyte of space. Yeah, you want the physical version again. You want to own your games. A lot of people are like myself where I buy digital sometimes, but a lot of times I like to own my own games. So that is a plus for the Switch version. But at the end of the day, it's just like, dog, if you played it before, you experienced it 4 to 5 times, it's not worth the 50. Don't do this to yourself. Don't buy it. Wait on it to drop in price because I'm sure it will eventually. And just sit on it. Wait. Nintendo has flash sales every single week now. They have a section of their store dedicated to sales. I'm almost positive Final Fantasy X is going to make its way there. And plus, we got Final Fantasy 12 coming at the end of the month, and who knows what that's going to bring. So I want to play that because I never finished 12 personally. I have it on PC. But once again, I didn't finish it there because I didn't want to have the exact same feelings that I had with Final Fantasy X. So when it comes down to it, yo, cop it if you never played it. But if you have played it before, save your money. I understand a lot of YouTubers that do Nintendo Switch games tell you, buy third-party games or no one's going to support us. No one's going to support us. We don't know that to be true. All right, we don't know that to be true. Yes, the Wii struggled, with third-party support at times, but it did sell like hotcakes because of all the gimmicks that was along with it. And yes, the Wii U did not get third-party support, but you know why the Wii U didn't get a lot of third-party support? It's because the damn game didn't sell. It struggled. Don't let people tell you anything else. The game struggled. If I see a game that died and it was on live support from the moment it released, I am not putting my resources into that system. Okay? So I don't know why people are constantly telling y'all that you need to buy the third-party games or everybody's just gonna stop and do it. There is enough history there and enough support there to show that, hey, if you do things the right way, we will buy your games. But we don't need to go out and buy everything that's third-party just because we're scared people are not going to support it. People are going to support it whether they want to or they don't. You see, EA is barely supporting things. EA is barely touching things because EA can't monetize things how they want to over there. So they don't do it. We got FIFA, but that's about it. And the FIFA was trash that we got over here. So when it comes down to it, you don't have to buy all games. Stop letting these YouTubers tell you that you have to buy all games so we can get third-party support. It's not true. It's not right. And you know what? If people don't want to support the system because games aren't selling, tell them to stop dropping trash ports. I'm tired of seeing $15 cell phone games that I can get for free on my cell phone. The Nintendo Switch store is starting to become a headache. It sucks navigating. I only go there when I have a game in mind that I want to get. I no longer browse because it's just ridiculous. So I know I've been a little bit long-winded. I just want to get this all off my chest. Never played to get it. Played 1,000 times and you can wait. Please don't get it. We need to send a message that you cannot bring half-ass ports to the Switch. Please. It's not better than the PS Vita version. It's not. It's not better than the PC version. It's not. Does it have the touchscreen controls, whatever? Those are not that damn serious. To press the button, it saves you about 8 seconds. 8 seconds. Once you learn how to navigate those menus, pressing and bringing it up on the touchscreen saves you about 8 seconds. Don't let them trick you. It's not that big of a deal to pay $50 for. So if you like this video, you like somebody being real and talking about the Switch, thank you for your time. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next video.